personal stories and people you're drawn to, and they see the world in an interesting way, this lady certainly fits the bill. Let's welcome Ms. Ann Podolske.
Maybe it's because you're confused. Just let me clear something up. If you're wondering, okay, is that gal a lesbian or is she just Midwestern? I'm both. Yeah, I grew up in Wisconsin. Anybody? A hoot? Okay, that's all we're going to get out of the Wisconsin contingent. Maine is much tougher about their homeland. But yeah, I grew up in Wisconsin, and I now live in the land of my people. That would be Northampton, Massachusetts. I live there with my sweetie Linda, our dog, and we have a silver Subaru Forester. You know, the Martina Navratilova edition? Yeah, we're living La Vida Lesbo over there. And life is pretty good. I have to admit, though, life hasn't always been good for yours truly. I mean, I've always known I was Midwestern. Hello. But I didn't figure out I was a lesbian until my early 30s. And I do not, everyone gets quiet, especially the young people. I do not want to frighten anyone. But, okay, maybe a little. But, no, it's really, there's a good reason for this. Where I grew up, and thank God I didn't grow up in Maine, because we could have trouble. But I grew up in the north woods of Wisconsin, far up where we actually say you betcha and we mean it. Don't get me started. But yes. And up there, well, I don't know how to explain this really, but let me just put it this way. We are not a sultry people. Let's just say growing up there, I feel extremely fortunate to have heard about heterosexuality. And I'm not picking on my folks. I'm offering myself as Exhibit A. I mean, I have heard rumor that there are straight men out there who fantasize about lesbians and what we do. I am also fairly confident that I am not the sort of lesbian they fantasize about. And, you know, I'm handling that part okay. But I'm also fairly confident I'm not the sort of lesbian that lesbians fantasize about. It's a little harder on the old tip. I'm not kidding. I'm an old dinosaurus. My days of that. Behind me. Anyway, I am so glad the election is over. I don't know if anyone feels the same way. Yeah, I can't stay up past my bedtime, which is 9 o'clock these days, watching all the pundits. I guess I was more just sort of intrigued. I couldn't quite figure it out. I mean, I understand, we have all these intelligent people, all these men and one woman going across the country spending millions of dollars to get this job after George Bush had it. Now we've got unemployment, we've got, you know, the worst deficit ever, we've got all this stuff hitting the fan, and all these wonderful, bright people are going for it. It kind of strikes me as being, you know, paying off the guy at the front of the bathroom when you get in there, when you know the guy in there's got explosive diarrhea. It's just going to be a mess. I don't know what it is about explosive diarrhea, but it always gets a laugh. Just a tip for you folks never mind. Anyway, but I am grateful for the results. I was thrilled to pieces. I mean, growing up in the 60s as I did, I mean, it's astounding that someone like Barack Obama is president. I'm also a little less than thrilled about the other stuff that happened, the Proposition 8 business. And, you know, I have friends in California who are married and they're, you know, freaking out a little, and they're like, they're saying the same old crap. It's that old, it was Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve business all over again. It's so witty, isn't it? That always drives me crazy. I don't understand that. I would not use them as a model. I mean, think about it. They had it made. They were looking at eternity in paradise. They were nude and they were unashamed. This is not something I can do myself. They had everything in front of them. They just had to follow one very simple rule. But as we all know, they broke their one and only rule and they got booted. But it didn't end there. Thanks to them, every one of us is born with the capability to have every disease imaginable, pain and suffering and certain death. Now, do those folks really think queers can mess things up worse than that? I think they set the bar a little high. Those two. And it's not like my Linda and I are desperate to get married. I mean, we had a rush to the altar phase. I don't want to sound, you know, unromantic, being unsultry, though it's a stretch. But But we did back in the day when we were first together. We lived in New York City, and they had a domestic partnership. So when we were eligible, we ran down to the city hall and we became domesticated. Then we moved up here and we heard about Vermont and civil unions, and we thought, well, that sounds kind of nice, let's do that. So we ran over to Vermont, and of course, now we're civilized. Then a number of years passed and Massachusetts got the gay marriage thing going, and we kind of looked at each other and go, what is this, the commemorative collection? Collect all 50 states. Now, we actually did get married because my partner had to go in for surgery, and everyone said, you should do it just in case. So this is where we are, getting married just in case. Isn't it romantic? Yeah. I'm glad we could do it. And, what really for us, what it comes down to is equity. And plus, we don't like to be ripped off. We pay the same taxes as straight folks, just want the same stuff. And I'm a reasonable person, and if people are really worked up, I'll say, well, give me equality or give me a goddamn deduction. And I personally don't care. Right on the tax form it says, do you qualify for a goddamn deduction? As long as I can check a box that says damn straight. Well, in closing, I should say I have a little compassion for the homophobes, though. In Northampton a few years ago, we had this poor little homophobe that scratched the word fag into a lesbian's car. Can you just imagine? It's like, don't they have flashcards or something? It's like, fags are boys, dykes are girls. But apparently this happens a lot. Lesbian friends of mine get called faggot all the time. It hasn't happened to me, but if it does, I'm ready. So when it calls me a fag, I'll just smile and say, close, but no cigar.
And